Morgan, Executive Director of Health and Community Education at Piedmont Healthcare, Inc., and an Adjunct Associate Professor of Medicine at the Morehouse School of Medicine. Dr. Morgan, thank you for your time on this. I'm always concerned with studies that link autism to causes because many have been debunked and it leads people down a very scary rabbit hole of blame. What is your read on this latest study and any truth or messaging to it?
Thanks for having me, Marnie. That's a good take to look at things. We always want to look at data with a critical eye. And when you take a look at this, aspartame certainly is being implicated in a number of things. I'm a cardiologist, including the increased risk of heart disease and stroke. When we take a look with regard to its contribution to autism in our society. Certainly, we've seen autism explode in the last 30 years from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 36. But this study doesn't really go far enough to actually connect those dots and draw a line for us. For one thing, we look at pregnant women, we're looking at them retrospectively. And so we're actually gathering data looking backwards. We also, it's not clear in this study as I read it, when aspartame is really consumed in the pregnancy. Is it first trimester, second trimester, third trimester? Is it the entire pregnancy? That's incredibly important, as well as what are the environmental factors of all of these women, which can be very diverse and divergent. And then finally, since most of the males are affected, not just in this study, but throughout the world, we always have to look at the contribution of the father, that Y chromosome. That's the difference between the males and females, that singular Y chromosome. So a lot of questions is certainly tantalizing, but a lot of questions, and there is really no causality here.
Yeah, no, a good messaging on that. And it's important that we do research, but take all of this with a grain of salt. There's another new study that said Merck's widely used antiviral COVID pill can cause mutations in the virus that occasionally spread to other people. It's raising a lot of questions about whether the drug has the potential to accelerate COVID's evolution. Did the healthcare world see this coming?
So we're talking about molnupiravir, and it certainly has been used, contraindicated in pregnant women and in those under the age of 18. And the way that it works is it does create genetic alterations in the virus itself, which then subsequently weakens the virus and makes it less effective. That being said, it is unclear whether or not molnupiravir has any connection at all to mutations. It could be that the dose timing of molnupiravir is simply not long enough. It should be given for a longer number of days. Additionally, when we look at these studies and we look at the cases that may, I want to emphasize may, be related to molnupiravir, they were sporadic and also unconnected. And so once again, we have to be very, very careful when they look at 2022 with the introduction of molnupiravir and an increase in variants. So many things are going on globally throughout our society. It's very difficult to identify one particular aspect and then say this is the cause of our mutations.
Finally, Doctor, researchers in Turkey have found that blue light exposure can speed up the onset of puberty in male rats, showing a potential link between smart device screens and early childhood development. With so many of our kids exposed to phones and tablets and screens right now, how closely can we link this to humans based on a study that was done so far on rats?
Marnie, now this is concerning because we look at this animal data, which is preclinical data. They looked at 18 rats. 6 of them they exposed to blue light for 6 hours a day, 6 for 12 hours a day, and 6 had no exposure at all to blue light. And those that were exposed to blue light saw an acceleration in development of puberty in male rats. And previously, they've done these studies in female rats and have seen it in female rats. While these are not human studies, this is the precursor to human studies. And so it really warrants more attention. Certainly, early puberty is not without consequences. We know that menarche, meaning the early start of your menstrual cycle, will increase your risk of breast cancer over time. We know that it will be more peer pressure and social interactions that may be uncomfortable for children who are going through puberty much earlier than their peer groups, and what that means with self-concept and how they will navigate the world and those long-term consequences. So this definitely bears a closer look. Again, these are preclinical studies. This is rats. However, we definitely want to see human clinical trials on this, as we know that we have more and more and more blue light exposure, especially amongst our e-gamers. And that particular demographic is growing. Those who are gaming, and what are the health challenges that we need to be able to meet in this demographic as well.
Yeah, so much screen time right now, an important topic to focus on. Dr. Jane Morgan, thank you. Appreciate your time.